14 minutes before the hour. There's a lot of competition in late-night talk shows these days. Comedian Garry Shandling's been both a guest and a guest host, and he finds it all pretty funny. So he's created his own late-night talk show host on a new HBO show called The Larry Sanders Show, starring Garry Shandling. You'll see what happens in front of the camera and behind the scenes in late-night TV.
So what do I do now?
Just pretend like you're talking to me until we're off the air, so it won't seem weird.
Okay.
So
Blah, 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 blah.
You don't have to pretend that much. How's your house coming along with your...
My house? Well, I'm in a lawsuit with the contractor because the walls are bleeding like a miracle.
And Garry Shandling joins us. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning to you.
Nice to have you with us.
Nice to see you in person. I'm usually just pulling myself out of some trance at around 7 a.m. when I see you.
You want to be more specific about what's going on in your household when you're waking up to us?
I could be more specific, but yet this is not a late-night show.
Tell me about this new show that you're going to pull off, and how much artifice you think is involved behind the scenes.
You know, this show that I'm doing this time around is 180 degrees from my other show, because this show's really very real and about real people, and it explores in a documentary-like way the real world of what goes on behind the set of a talk show. And we get to see a lot of how people really are once that camera goes off. Not like a sitcom, but how they really are. So there's a lot of language that you couldn't put on the network. There's a lot of things that we do that you couldn't have on network television. We talk about the other hosts. We talk about the guests on the show. We use some graphic language as really exists, because I've been there. And it's an interesting exploration of hypocrisy and seeing how a host can say to a guest, "It is great to see you. Hope to have you back soon." And then walks back to the stage and says to the producer, "Don't ever book him again. I hated that interview." And, you know, having hosted shows before, I still cannot look at, could not look at Johnny and cannot still look at Letterman and tell exactly whether they would have that guest back.
Really?
There's a beautiful cover going on, and I can never really tell.
How about what happens when the guest leaves and they're not happy with the interview? You know,
I'm never concerned about that.
You're never concerned about that. More concerned about whether you're going to bring him back on the show or not.
Yeah, I mean, that's the side we certainly do explore, although Peter Falk does a little guest shot on this show, and he hates being a guest, and during the commercial break he turns to me and says, "Don't ever invite me back on this blankety-blank show again," because he says, "I don't like doing talk shows because, you know, when you're doing a movie, you have 3 months to work out an idea and express yourself, whereas on a talk show, you only have 3.5 minutes to really get it all together." And I said, "Peter, I'm sorry, we have to take a commercial break. Can you hold that thought?" And he says, "Yeah, yeah." And then during the commercial break, he really lets go. Oh, and so that's the kind of stuff.
Want to give us, before you go, an assessment of late-night TV right now?
What a mess.
How are the wars out there?
It's worse than the Middle East, isn't it? I wouldn't want to be in the middle of that. You know, I was offered a talk show over the winter, and I've always thought, you know, it's weird enough to be on TV every night, but the oddest thing is wanting to be on TV every night.
It's a sickness, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I think there is a, I think there is a certain, you know, a certain kind of, you know, I'm trying to look for exactly the right word, but it's certainly an energy kind of, you know, yeah, it is early. There's a certain kind of, I think, fix that you get from being in front of that audience every night. And I think we explore that as well.
Well, congratulations on your new show. Garry Shandling, nice to see you.
Thank you, Paula.
Now, can I tell my producers? Don't book him again.
Yes,
I would not say that about you.
Tell them. I talked to your producer yesterday who did a pre-interview and said that I had best be very funny and very interesting. Well, so she's sweating now.
No,
that's the part we explore.
It was terrific to have you with us.
Thanks
So much. We'll be right back.